Hey guys, I need to warn you, I usually plan these a little bit better and I literally was just sat in the other room and I was like, I'm gonna go and film my like update of everything that's been happening over the last few months for my YouTube. So yeah, I look awful. It's been really warm today and I've not really done much to my face or anything. But yeah, I thought I'm gonna just film it. I hope it's gonna make sense because I do usually try and put a little bit more thought into these, but we'll see how we go. I'm going to be quite honest about some of the things that have been going on, and I also might forget some things, so we'll try our hardest. So I think the last time I filmed was in end of February, March time, I think. And things were okay. I was getting into, still getting into a healthier place. I felt like I was nearly there. And there were a few things that were kind of happening at that time. I was having a lot of solo time, a lot of independent time, practicing a lot of what I'd learnt. I guess I've been practicing for the last sort of year or so, just practicing with less support from people around me, or using support a little bit differently because there was a few sort of situations. And how did it go? It went okay. I think it helped me see where I needed more support still, but also in some places that I needed less support. So is that kind of good and bad? It wasn't perfect. It made me realise that I'm still in recovery. I'm not recovered. But I did okay balancing everything up. And also around that sort of time, and I'm going to talk about movement and exercise for the next couple of minutes. So if that's something that you struggle with, then please just skip over the next. I'll put a little thing in, so I don't know what I'm going to put in, something that will signify that I've changed subject. I'll have to confirm what that is when I edit this. So if you find this difficult, then just skip over basically. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put the time that I speak about it in. I'm going to edit it, put it here, and then you can just skip to the time when I stop talking about it. Anyway, being in a healthier place has meant that I have been able to start some movement again, call it movement, and it was actually going quite well, and it was really helping. I think it's the first time for an awful long time that I felt like I had quite a positive relationship with movement. So I was able to start doing little bits again. I was being very open with my treatment team about how it was going and what I was doing. And it was difficult. It's really difficult knowing where that line is between this is good, this is helping my mental health, versus this is getting a bit difficult and my eating disorder might be sort of taking over a little bit. But overall, we had that open conversation and things were going okay. Then I got injured, and that was 3.5 months ago now. And I'm not great with pain. Like I'm quite I was going to edit that bit out, I'm going to keep it in. I'm quite hyposensitive to pain, and I didn't necessarily realise that I was in pain for a little bit longer than I maybe should have. Anyway, ended up in not a great place, ended up in lots of doctor's appointments, ended up at hospital, and yeah, I've injured the tendon in my leg, which has been actually really difficult to deal with. Obviously it's difficult to deal with an injury, but I'm also autistic and I had a routine, and my routine was my routine, and that was very abruptly changed. And I'm also in recovery from an eating disorder, and my movement that I was doing every day also was forced to change. I couldn't do an awful lot with the injury I had, and it affected me. It made me feel really, I felt like before I was in this relationship with my body where I was asking my body to do something, my body was doing something, and I felt quite connected to my body. Like I was like, okay, like I'm kind of, I don't know, we had a thing going on, it was going okay. And I felt quite let down by my body, because I was, I don't know, this is just how I felt about it. I felt, you know, I've got you into a physically healthy place, I've been treating you well, I've been feeding you and all that kind of stuff, and you go and get injured, really? Also at that time, everything with uni was getting very busy, lots of things, deadlines, all that kind of stuff. And I felt really like, I don't know, it affected me. It made me feel quite low. I didn't let it stop how I was going, and obviously I was still making progress. But I found it difficult to manage, and obviously there was quite a few weeks where I was able to do not a lot at all. And then obviously I was on, you know, pain relief, and that was difficult on my stomach. And I found that quite difficult, even though I had medication as well to help my stomach with the pain relief. Of going around in circles here. So I've been managing that for the last 3 months, and unfortunately it's not much better, which is really frustrating. So I am starting physio soon to hopefully get it into a bit of a better place, not just so I can do some kind of movement again, but just so that I'm like not in pain would be quite nice. So that was going on. Obviously uni and everything with uni was going on. There was a lot. It was very, very busy. But I have now finished my semester for this year. So I've got a few months off before I go back in September, which has been a little bit of a crazy time, but I'll put in some photos and stuff of like that sort of stuff. And just to not make this a really long video, because I've just seen the time and I've been rambling again. What else has been going on? Treatment's been going on. And do you know, I actually wanted to address this because I had a comment the other day, like someone left a comment, and I was like, I don't understand how you think that way. They said, I don't understand why your appointments are so difficult because you're in a better place. And I was like, I wasn't upset, because I was like, maybe you don't understand an eating disorder, how it presents, but I was a little bit, I don't know, this is why I wanted to address it. I wanted to explain. Eating disorders don't exist for no reason. And in my case, my eating disorder, it very much developed in response to my mental health going downhill, in response to, well, not having an autism diagnosis and therefore having rock bottom self-esteem because I didn't like myself, because I wasn't fitting in and I couldn't get everything right and everyone else was fine and I was not fine, and all of those kind of things. I'm going to do a different video about that. That's why I very much like skated over that. And, you know, even this recent relapse, and, you know, since I've been doing these videos and talking about my journey, this, you know, since this horrible relapse happened, and, you know, I'm in such a better place, there's still stuff going on underneath, and a lot of therapy doesn't happen, or doesn't happen very effectively, until you're in a better nourished place, because you don't have the I didn't have the mental energy to think about things. You know, last year was horrendous, and all that was in my head was like darkness and worrying about calories and food and you know, very eating disorder, sort of very filled my head with all of these things. And I'm in a place where I'm managing those things better, but there's all the stuff underneath is still there. And that stuff is difficult to manage, it's difficult to talk about, and it's difficult to address. Treatment looks at those things as well. It doesn't just look at what my weight is, what I'm eating, what my exercise is. That those are things that are part of an eating disorder, yes, but they're not an eating disorder is psychological disorder, and it's like eating disorders are like an iceberg. You see that much, but there's that much going on underneath. And I don't know if it's because I understand myself and what I've been through that I found it quite, it shocked me, that comment, that sort of like, I don't know. So that, yeah, that's why I wanted to explain it. I am not facing the same difficulties I was this time last year, as in I'm mostly doing better. I still have, you know, difficult moments, and I still have work, and I'm still not at the place I need to be. I've still got a bit of way to go. But that is one aspect of treatment. There is a whole other aspect that is dealing with things like self-esteem and understanding yourself and self-compassion, which I refuse to talk about, and how your experiences impact the way you see the world and how you view yourself, and I guess what you go through. And it's work that we've needed to do for a while, but me being very poorly, I wasn't able to do it. Then me being very busy, I wasn't able to do it. And I guess it sort of came up quite a lot at the start of this year. And I sort of went, oh, this is not nice, let me push it all away. And my nurse sort of said, let's not do that. So we've had some difficult conversations recently about things that are difficult, and actually since finishing uni we're going to be doing more of those, and I actually had it today. And it was okay today. It was better than last week when I just cried. But I think for me to keep on achieving that full recovery is about going through all of the processes, not just the restore weight, because I need to recover fully. I need to work on my brain, and that comes from doing different things as well, therapy and all that kind of stuff. So at the moment I'm kind of working through a lot of things. I have decided I'm going to talk like a little bit about my story. Sounds really cliche, but that kind of stuff. So I am kind of saving that for a different video to sort of talk a little bit about, like, from an educational perspective, like some of the things, or I don't know, just an experience perspective, some of the things that I've been through that contributed to my eating disorder, contributed to my relapse. And I guess I'm kind of, I don't know, talking about how I'm getting through them. But yeah, it's been a busy time. It's been a busy time recently, and yeah, I don't feel like that was everything. There's definitely been more things. I can't think now. I knew this would happen. I'm gonna leave this like this for now because it's turning into a long video. But definitely there's been more things going on. I just can't can't access them at the moment. Yeah. Okay, I just finished this here for now. That is some of the things that have been going on. I am going to talk a little bit more about other stuff soon. That sounded very abstract, didn't mean it to, just, yeah. And yeah, maybe I do it this way. Has anyone got any specific questions, and then I can answer those? And there are also some things that I just wanted to talk about. And I'm gonna be, is the actual official term vlogging? Because I never really knew. I don't know. I'm gonna be doing that, like filming these is what I'm trying to say. My brain is just haywire today. So yeah, I've got quite a few videos to post. I'm gonna be doing some more filming and just making sure I am removing every part of the eating disorder from my life and getting to a place where I can say I recovered from an eating disorder. But that's enough for today's video. And finishing this video on this quote, and there is another video coming out soon which is just like pictures of some of the stuff I got up to over the 4 months and things that I hugely missed out from this video, like the fact that I was in a national TV documentary, and also like food reviews, which I always love doing. Anyway, that's all coming soon, and thank you again for being patient with me. It's been a very busy time recently.